Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the Faster Way podcast. I am thrilled to be here today with a brand new Faster Way certified coach, Rachel Mitchell. Rachel, thank you so much for being with us. We truly appreciate it.
Oh, it is an honor. I'm so glad to be here.
Rachel, where are you calling from today? Where are you located?
I live in North Mississippi. Most people think, oh, the beach, but no, I'm very far north, almost Tennessee. And it's rainy and we have got all the effects of the hurricane right now.
Oh, no. Well, we have had a lot of rain here in Florida too, but no recent hurricane. And typically in September, we do struggle with hurricanes. So prayers are out to you and your area. We know the anxiety that hurricanes can bring and the aftermath as well. But we're not here to talk about the weather. We are here to talk about fitness and nutrition. So I want to go all the way back and I want you to share with us a little bit about your journey into the fitness and nutrition category. That can be either your journey as you stepped into a profession in wellness, or maybe you say, 15 years ago, kind of here's how my story started, and I was even turned on to this category.
Yeah, absolutely. I love to share the story. So, about when I was 33, that was 10 years ago, a little over 10 years ago, I had two precious little boys who were toddling around me. And for the first time, really, in my life, I was struggling with weight gain. I'd never struggled with weight gain. Well, I had gained weight in college and things like that, but it was very easy to get it off. I was never really heavy or overweight, but I was 33 and I had had two beautiful children. I was done having children, nursing them, and my body started to put on weight. I had picked up a lot of bad habits with nursing because I could eat a ton of food and not gain weight, and it was catching up. And so I was having never really struggled. I was a little desperate. I was looking for a quick fix. Like running wasn't getting it off, cutting calories wasn't getting it off. And so I stumbled into the health and fitness industry as a client, did a program. I was working out 30 minutes a day, learned more about whole food nutrition, not perfectly, but really started to care about taking care of my body from the inside out. I did lose the weight. I did start to see improved just all over health. My hormones improved, my cholesterol went down, and I got really passionate about if this can work for me, like it could work for so many other mamas out there who don't only want to lose weight, but want to be healthy from the inside out. And so my story is kind of twofold. I stumbled into it as a client, and then I decided I wanted to coach other women. And I've been doing that for the past 10 years, and God has blessed it tremendously. And my passion for teaching women this has not waned at all. So that's in a nutshell, that's my health and fitness story.
That's so exciting. So, recently postpartum, 33 years old, struggling to burn the fat. When you
Yep.
started with your nutrition and fitness journey at that time, what do you think really moved the needle? What was the strategy that unlocked the results for you?
I stopped eating Big Macs and Oreos late at night. I started to eat real food. It was
Yeah.
just real food. And I had grown up in a home that taught me to do that, but just convenience and being on my own and culture, I had fallen prey to the lies, honestly, that fast is better, quick is easy, and you can do this and just lose the weight later, right? So, but it was just a lifestyle change. It was a total lifestyle change for
Wow.
me.
So it sounds like you began to focus on whole food nutrition instead of that processed food
Yeah.
nutrition or fast food, which is such a key component of success for anyone looking to have better health and wellness. And you became a coach with Beachbody, which I don't know if
Mhm.
you are aware of this, but I was actually a coach with Beachbody in, I believe, 2014. It was like
Oh, wow.
2014, maybe early 2015 for a moment. It was like a very
Mhm.
quick, moment in
Yeah.
in my background, but I saw what was happening with P90X and Insanity and 21 Day Fix and was running a digital marketing agency for women in
Mhm.
fitness. At the time, many of my clients were Beachbody coaches, so I decided to partner with Beachbody. I
Mhm.
brought in many coaches. I think I had 1,000 people in my
Oh,
downline at
wow.
one point, within kind of a year. And then I transitioned away just because there were certain things I didn't, love about the model, and
Yeah.
ultimately, I also wanted to create Faster Way, and I had already been running Faster Way as a side project even while coaching with Beachbody, so
Mhm.
I just saw, the potential of Faster Way from the standpoint of programming and then business scalability too.
Yeah.
But that's such a exciting story that you were with them for an entire decade. And tell me a little bit about that journey from a financial, standpoint and a business standpoint.
Absolutely. So I am not like you, I'm not the same person I was 10 years ago. I was so shy and timid, and I just did not go into the business side of it anticipating to make much of it. I thought if I could get my products paid for, if I could make a little bit of money, but I pretty quickly realized that like God wanted to use me and I was able to help women. And that really fueled me in the beginning. But as the income started to grow, it was a blessing to our family. I was a full time teacher. My husband has always been in ministry, nonprofit, and so neither one of us made a lot of money. So any extra income with daycare,
Yes.
So the money, I was motivated by the income at one point, and so I just started to set a goal. Like every month, I wanted to help a certain number of women. If I did that, my business continued to grow. The my leadership, my mentor, I had a wonderful mentor as far as coming into Beachbody. If I had not had her, I don't think I would have stuck with it just because the training with the company wasn't it was just subpar, but my mentor had really built something that helped me a lot. And so like I told you before previously, I achieved the milestones. I grew the business. It was a blessing to our family, and it actually brought me home. Like it brought me home to be with our boys. We homeschooled for a few years because I was working this business, and God just blessed it tremendously. So I
Wow.
can't say enough about what he called me to do, and it fueled my passion. I grew deeper in my faith as God called me out of my comfort zone, and so it has absolutely been a blessing. Just
Wow.
that one small timid shy little yes that I said 10 years ago. So the business has blessed me as much as the health and fitness has.
Oh my gosh. Okay, that is so inspiring, and it's encouraging for women who are listening, who are maybe a little bit timid or shy and think,
Mhm.
I couldn't be a business owner. I can't be speaking on social media stories or live video. And so for the women listening who might be a little bit less extroverted and maybe more introverted, that is really great. And then also, I love your perspective on setting a monthly goal, crushing that
Mhm.
monthly goal. It's okay to be money motivated. And we're going to talk more about that later. I've often said if I didn't go into fitness, I would go into finance. I think
Mm.
it is absolutely fine. Even as someone who has a strong faith, even as a believer, it's okay to be money motivated. Listen, she said I was money motivated, but what did that create? It created impact, and it created your opportunity to stay home with your
Mhm.
boys, to homeschool your boys, which is phenomenal. I'm super curious, and we haven't chatted previously. Tell me a little bit about your now transition into the Faster Way. What turned you on to Faster Way from the standpoint of programming and also the certification opportunity?
I will say that about a little over a year ago, I got to a point where I was unsettled with where the direction of the company I was going, the direction Beachbody was going. And I say that with full respect for the company. I use a lot of their products, like it's a great company, but just the direction that they were going as a company, the business model was changing. My income was going down a good deal, and I just got to a point where, I really wanted to help women. And in addition to that, I actually went back to school because you don't actually receive nutrition training with Beachbody. And so I was hungry to learn. I hit 40, Amanda. Like I hit 40, my body was changing, and the things I was doing at 33 were not working after 40. And so like I was trying really hard. I was cutting calories. I was doing, more cardio. You talk about it all the time. That things that I did before did not work. And so I got really eager to learn. I got a certification in nutrition. I started lifting weights. I started to learn about macros. I know all this before Faster Way started popping into my feed. I started to see more Faster Way coaches. I actually interviewed gosh, it was like before the end of the year last year, and I got accepted and I said no. I was so loyal. I was so
Yeah,
loyal
which
to
is
Beachbody
great.
and
Yeah.
I wanted I really wanted the company to just kind of change course. But it didn't. And so again, I was just unsettled. Talked to some friends who were in Faster Way. I learned about your certification course and I thought, how cool. Like that's integrity to bring someone in to teach other women, but require that they know what they're doing first, right? And so to me that was just like green lights all over the place, right? I think that's very very much an integrity based way to bring in people to teach other people. And so went through a certification, an information event again. I talked to some coaches, I got interviewed, went through it, and then sister, like I couldn't wait to get my hands on your certification course because even though I'd already done it with another company, I loved what you were doing. And being 40 plus, like your approach to health and fitness was what I needed. And again, I knew that if I needed it, other women needed it. And
Yeah.
so if I could build an income, if I could build wealth while doing something I 100% believed in, it was a no-brainer.
Wow. So what was the month that you then became certified?
June or July. I think it
Oh
was
my gosh.
July.
Like, meaning a couple of months ago, like 2 months ago.
A couple of months ago. Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, and tell me about your journey thus far.
Okay, so I have a great upline coach in Faster Way, just like I did in Beachbody. God's totally looking out for me. But all coaches are great. But even if I didn't, like I could have come into this with your certification and needed no extra help.
Yeah.
It's amazing that there's a nutrition certification which just reinforced. I learned new things, very applicable,
Mm,
hands on. It was very easy to comprehend and pass the test. And then also you have a social media course training as part of that. And it was things I already knew, but again, just coming into it, like if I was a brand new coach, that would have been valuable to me. And so I actually like listen, I'm extra. I finished my certification in 4 days. I was
Wow.
so I was so eager. I was like, boys, it was summertime. They were home. I was
Oh
like,
my
boys,
gosh.
just leave me alone for an hour a day or 2 hours a day. And I just
Yeah.
plowed through it because
Wow.
it was so good. And I am
Yeah.
very dirty. I'm very eager.
I
But
love it.
like I finished it and I wanted to run my first round. Like I was so ready to run my first round because I went through my 6 weeks first. I went through
Mm,
my 6 week round with Faster Way first. And it was great. It was everything I expected it to be and more, and so I just couldn't wait to help women do a round with me, and so,
mhm.
yeah, I plowed through.
That is incredible. You're not an overachiever. No, you are. Like, we're in the presence of a major overachiever, everybody. I love it, Rachel. How many people did you have in your first round?
I set a goal for 10, and
Uh-huh.
I had 10 people.
That's perfect. So
Yeah,
you
yeah.
may not have heard this, but in my very first round of the Faster Way, I had 11 clients.
Ah!
Yeah, I had 11 clients. So I often tell people like set a goal for 10 or 11 because it's a
Yep,
great number to start with.
yeah.
And I've heard through the grapevine that you already have brought a few clients into the coaching certification as well.
Yes, yes. I have one coach who is rocking it. She's a lot
Amazing.
like came into it like I did. And
Yeah.
then I have 3 who are gonna start the training this month. And
Wow.
so they were on the call Wednesday. They're
Yes.
very excited about it. And
Yeah.
honestly, for the same reasons as I was. Like
Mhm.
the teaching side of it, the business side of it, the way you guys are delivering it, it makes you eager to want to do it, to
Yep.
want to show up, to want to execute. And so, yeah, we're very excited.
Well, we are truly grateful to have you, and I can't wait to watch you thrive. I have the utmost respect for my competitors, for complementary companies, because at the end of the day, we are all on the same team and we share a common enemy. Our enemy is cancer. Our enemy is disease. Our enemy is obesity. Our enemy is depression and anxiety. And so for me, I have all of the numbers of all of my competitors in my phone, and we text consistently. I was just texting with a competitor yesterday, but I don't consider these individuals, CEOs, founders, even private equity partners to be competitors. I consider them to be colleagues and friends
Mhm.
because we are on a mission to make a massive impact. And I don't even care what my ideal client does for workouts or nutrition as long as they get healthy, as long as they
Right.
are feeling empowered, and as long as it works for them in a way that is sustainable.
Mhm.
So I have nothing negative to say about Beachbody. Again, I personally was a coach for a moment. I learned quite a
Yeah.
bit in that, short moment. And I was able to even use some of the things that I learned to craft my faster way business model
Mhm.
because I kind of thought through what I liked about the business model and maybe what I could do differently and in a unique way with our programming. I definitely was very focused on, okay, how can I empower women to eat enough of the foods that God
Mhm.
intends for us to eat and then move our body almost the minimum amount required. So I did the kind of opposite day, when it comes to the nutrition component. But one thing I want to dive into right now is kind of this business or money mindset piece. And it's going to resonate
Mhm.
with a lot of our Faster Way listeners because a lot of our listeners are Faster Way certified coaches or VIP clients, potentially business owners in their own right, maybe influencers on social, or perhaps
Mhm.
they're partnered with a complementary network marketing company. So you are a strong believer. I am a strong believer. But the whole concept of money in the Christian circles can be a little
Yeah.
bit controversial. Um, I have to just share a quick story and then we'll kind of hear your perspective. So when I was growing up, my church was in its heyday. We were kind of at the
Mm.
peak from the standpoint of it was growing. We were moving to some TV, kind of online TV broadcasts of the sermons.
Yeah.
The youth group was popping. The pastor at the time was a phenomenal speaker. Okay, phenomenal
Mhm.
preacher, really good leader. Actually, his son was in my class, in school because we had the Christian church and then school associated. So I was at church 7 days a week. I mean, I was at school and then Wednesday night church, Sunday morning church, Sunday afternoon church. I
Mm.
was probably there Saturday serving. And unfortunately, our pastor was pushed out of the church because some people in the congregation decided that they didn't like how he was spending money. He had bought
Oh.
himself some shoes. I distinctly remember it's 3 things. He had some nice shoes, it was some nice loafers. He had a really nice, briefcase that he would, tote around, and then he had a
Uh-huh.
a Land Rover. Okay, so,
Okay.
we're in Pennsylvania, wasn't, a super upper class area, and some people just decided we don't like how he's spending money, and there was a lot more to it, if anyone's listening from Pennsylvania, they'll be like, "It's a little," but he ultimately was pushed out, and I have to tell you, it was very traumatic for us at the church. Like, I
Mhm.
was in middle school, and I still remember just how hard it was, and the church has never fully recovered. They are
Oh,
probably
wow.
running a quarter of the congregation size that they used to, and so for me, I'm growing up seeing someone with money vilified, and it's a pastor, so not
Right.
even that much money, but I'm growing up with kind of this perspective of like, "Oh,
Mhm.
money is the root of all evil. Having money
Yeah.
is not
Yeah.
okay if you're a believer, if you're." And so I had to really work through my perspective on this. And even now, we had a conversation yesterday in the office. Even now, there are so many stigmas around like, oh, a female having money or CEO having
Yeah.
money and how the money is spent. And it is something that, I've really had to kind of work through myself and I'm in a good place. But what I see so often, even with our certified coaches, is women or men who are afraid to accumulate significant wealth and so will actually sabotage themselves because they don't feel that it's okay to have a good amount of money, a big amount of money, and so then they will kind of like sabotage, they'll self-sabotage, they'll have an upper limit problem. So you started by saying I had goals. And I was
Yeah.
money motivated. So talk with me about how you developed your money mindset and maybe kind of share just a little bit about what your perspective is on
Yeah.
growing a successful business and accumulating income.
Yeah. Well, let me say first, like I did not grow up with a lot of money. Like we were very very poor. And so, it was never I mean, horrible, but we scraped and we to get by. And so growing up, like I don't know. I can't really say what my mindset was with money. I just knew like you needed it to live. And, having too much of it, obviously, I knew the scripture verses, the love of money is the root of all evil, but I never really had to worry that much about having too much money for a lot of my life. But I will say that, for us at first, I think it's individual. I think you pray about your mindset with money, seek God's, look in the scriptures. But for us, it actually created an avenue for me to do what I feel like God had created me to do, which was to be home. I mean, like I was teaching full time. I still teach part time at a local college, but it was a commute. Like I was gone away from my children from 7 until 4 or 5, and at the end of the day, 5 days a week, and not knocking. I love to work. Like I've always loved to work. I'm not knocking moms who work, but I knew that just was not what God wanted me to do. And He was calling me. Never wanted to homeschool Amanda. Like never, never. That was not on my heart. But God put it on my heart about 2 or 3 years into Beachbody, and we were finally making the income where that was a possibility. And so we just listened. And even my husband, he never wanted to homeschool our children either. And God was planting that seed separately, like separately. We didn't
Wow.
talk about it. He was planting that seed separately. And here he had provided a way with this income, right? And so that income actually, like I said, made the way for me to do what I feel like God had created me to do. Now my kids are back in public school and I still stay home. But again, I get to be home. I get to take them to school, pick them up, go to their games. I'm not leaving. I'm not gone all day every day. And so that was one aspect of it. And then secondly, as I got about 6, 7 years into the business, and I told you my income started to go down after
Mm,
Beachbody changed their business model, and I was like, we still need income. Is it wrong to want to have this significant income? And then I started to notice in the Bible, like think about the heroes of the faith. Joseph was an incredible businessman, and because he did that, because he was able to build a business and build wealth, he actually provided for his people for years and years and years to come. He
mm,
created a model of wealth that provided for his people. Think about Paul. Like I started to notice, Paul didn't just travel around and like mooch off of people. He actually said, "No, I'm not going to do that." He was a tent maker. He created his own income so that he could go and do what God had created him to do. I'm not saying he was wealthy, but he didn't need for anything because he worked and created income. I could go on, but that just like God is not anti-wealth. And then I remember, I will never forget this. And the coach information event that I went through this year, I think you talked about this. I'm pretty sure you did. I've heard you talk about it somewhere, about your passion for helping women create wealth
mhm.
so that they can give back, so that they can contribute to their churches, so that we can do more with our money and not rely on other people to do it for us, right? And so even somebody told me that about you as I was like, okay, God, do I do this, do I go in faster way? He put people in my path to talk to me, and somebody told me about you having this passion for wealth and for women and for giving back to your communities. And
Yeah.
so did I answer your question? Like that was a lot, but like that's
Yes.
that's where I'm at. Like that's where I'm
Yes.
at with money.
Yep.
And I think it's good.
Oh man, that was phenomenal. And I really appreciate your specific examples. Joseph, Paul, the Proverbs
Mhm.
31 woman. I mean, let's be clear. And so I think,
Yeah.
everyone listening has to create their own definition of success, but then also consider what impact looks like for you and what is required for impact. And in many cases, money, income, wealth is required for impact. And yes, my passion, my vision, my mission since even prior to starting prior to starting Faster Way prior to, yeah, joining Beachbody. So
Yeah.
a decade plus ago when I had my digital marketing agency for women in fitness, my vision was to eradicate poverty for women in wellness
Mm.
so that they could recirculate their wealth to their family, their
Mhm.
church, and community. Family, church, community, that's what it's all about. And for me, I look at wealth accumulation in a different way. I think it's about having kind of an open hand
Yeah.
strategy where wealth flows through me. And I
Mm.
said to a few of my team members yesterday, I said, if you were promised that you could become a billionaire, but you had to give all your money back, would you do it? And I think that's a really good question. It's a really good litmus test. If I said
Mhm.
to you, you could become a millionaire within the next 60 seconds if you say yes, but you have to give all your money back, would you do it?
Mhm.
Some people,
Yeah.
even the people who maybe don't have the right perspective on wealth accumulation or earning income through a business might also be the same people who are just trying to hold so tight onto every little penny and
Mhm.
not wanting to reinvest or to hire to help or what. And so there's so much to be said about really kind of working through and processing through that money mindset.
Mhm.
I've often said I have a different decision-making matrix when it comes to growing a business, running a business, because of how I look at wealth accumulation and income. I am in a powerful position where, I've had many, many, many people come to me since 2018, 19 offering to purchase the company. And I just will never take on private equity. If you're a PE firm guy
Yeah.
listening, I'm sorry. I said what I said. I'm just never going to do PE. Like
Yeah.
because money is almost not even that interesting to me anymore. Like, people criticize me
Mhm.
because I love my cars. I have like, I'm wearing a TJ Maxx shirt and, I've
Ew.
like used the cheap, Q-tips, but I love my cars. It's like there's things that I love.
Yeah.
It's cars. That's it. So, I do get some haters, but for me, it's my decision-making matrix is different because I also know I just a few years ago lived in a 1,000 square foot condo and only
Mm.
spent $4,000 a month and was happy. We were
Yeah.
100% happy, completely happy. Like, I know I can go back to that at any time. I don't need this, that, and the other. I think, Paul says it best. He was content whether well fed or
Mm.
hungry, whether living with plenty or in want. He found this
Mhm.
contentment. But you're right. He also was self sufficient.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for sharing. I think your mindset is really solid around this whole concept. What does the next 5 years look like for you? What are you looking to accomplish? What's your vision? What are your goals?
Well, in the next 5 years, my children, well, yes, my children will be in college.
Oh my
So
gosh.
yeah. So that's kind of hard to even like wrap my brain around. But and my husband and I will be on our own a little bit more. And so, from a just a lifestyle standpoint, I would like to. I mean, I love Faster Way and how it honestly is helping physically, nutritionally, holistically, women my age. I want to be in my 50s and be in the best shape ever, and doing lots of fun things with my husband uninhibited. So there's that. I want to still be helping women who are transitioning through these very pivotal points in life, perimenopause, menopause, and beyond. And I want to honestly, this is a huge motivator for my business is I want to show my children like you have to work hard, you have to go through the trenches to get there, but you can do something you love, make significant amounts of income, and be doing it as a calling from the Lord. And
Mm,
so I do, again, like I am the last person on this earth that 10, 15 years ago you would have expected to be on a call with a creator of a company talking about my faith openly and candidly, but God,
yeah.
but God. And so I kind of think like what does he have in store for me next? Like what's next? And so I would love to create some faith-based resources around fitness for women. Maybe be marketing those, giving away, but also creating income that way. But yeah, I still want to be doing what I'm doing, which is just take my story and share it in a way that helps other women, but also leads my family by example. So
Mm. What do you personally do for professional development? Are there certain books that you really appreciate, podcasts? Tell us a little bit more about that, and then we'll wrap up.
yeah, absolutely. Gosh, I've read all the books. I always go back to some of my favorites are Atomic Habits. Like
Mhm,
I know it's a book about habits, but it actually like guides me not only in my personal life but also in my professional life. I love Donald Miller, Building a
mhm,
Story Brand.
mhm.
It's been such a guide, and I go back to that a lot. I do listen to podcasts. I listen to some professional development podcasts, but not a lot, not as much because I find that reading allows me to take the information, process it, discern, and apply. Whereas a podcast, sometimes I feel very influenced immediately, and I don't know. I just need that time to process. So I love books. I love those things. And so yeah, and I pray a lot, not as much as I should. I pray over my business and just ask for discernment and direction. So well,
Oh,
and
well,
you're like you guys do great trainings. Honestly, you guys provide really great train. The Nashville leg day training after the leg day. I mean, like I didn't even think I needed it, but it was incredible. Like it was incredible. So
yay!
in-person things are fun too.
Yes, yes. Well, Rachel, it has been such a pleasure to speak with you. I'm so thrilled to have you on board at Faster Way, and you are
Thank you.
absolutely an inspiration to so many of our coaches listening and our clients who, again, might have their own businesses, might
Yeah.
be struggling with their own mindset, whether it's around money or just simply generating income. So, thank you for your perspective and also your obedience to follow your calling and really lean into your purpose. We just appreciate your time, and I can't wait to hear of your success in the next year and beyond.
Thank you, Amanda. Thank you so much.
Bye, everyone.